If the gear in your car audio system doesn't look similar to this right here, then you may have done something wrong. Let me say that again. If you've gone to a shop and had them hook up your system, and you look at your gear in your trunk or wherever it's at, and it doesn't look similar to this, then you've probably done something wrong. I'm here in my studio and I'm in the process of setting up a new amp rack for in-house testing. And what I have here is the Smart 3 Bass by Tar Amps. And I also have a little 4-channel amplifier that they make as well. This is the DS440 by 4. All right. I also have the Dayton Audio 408 DSP by Dayton Audio. And I'm running everything right now off this old head unit that I'm getting ready to replace. And if you want to know how I got all this connected, stick around. We're going to jump right off into that. Right now, what you guys are looking at is the data connector from the back of the head unit. This is what it looks like. It's a Molex style connector and it has multiple wires for speaker and power outputs. And these are the crimpers that I'm going to be using in order to strip back my wires. These crimpers are very, very quick and you can adjust tension on them so that they can actually automatically grab and strip the wires for you. When you're finished, you should be left with something that looks like this. For easeability, I'm going to be using these terminal blocks. This is the 12 terminal block. It has 12 different connections you can make. This one here is rated up to 400 volts at 25 amps. And this is what it should look like. I connected all my data or outputs on one end, and then I connected all the power on the other end. It wouldn't hurt to have a welder when you're doing wires such as this for a more secure connection. This is optional. Most people don't know how to use these, but if you do have a little bit of welding or soldering experience, this is a pretty good one right here. I've had it for about 5 or 6 years. It's showing its age, but it still gets the job done. Another thing you're gonna need is gonna be some shrink wrap or shrink tubing. These right here come in an assortment of sizes, and this is a perfect kit for what I'm trying to do right now. The shrink tubing is actually going to protect the solder job that you do, and it's going to leave an airtight fit to keep out contaminations from corroding your wire and solder job. And when you're finished, this is what it should look like. This is the Molex connector, and that's the soldering job, and everything is connected to the terminal block. And I did go ahead and make sure that I actually labeled all of the wires just to make everything easy to connect later on. And most importantly, you're gonna need a battery source. This is the 12 volt 100 amp hour by Power Queen. This is a lithium battery. This is from their premium lineup, and it has an internal BMS with it. You're also gonna need some terminal blocks. This terminal block right here is actually for some miniature A&L fuse. But like I said, the battery has an internal BMS and it should handle anything, but just in case it does not, and to protect the wires, you always want to use fusing. Another thing you're gonna need are gonna be some lugs. In my case, I have 4-gauge terminal slugs here, or lugs, and these are all copper. And the reason I got that is because I'm going to be using this wire. This is the new Concepts 4-gauge power wire, and you can see it has over 2,000 strands of OFC copper. The silver color of the wire comes from the tinned material that they have on there to protect against corrosion. The miniature A&L fuses look like this. Once again, these are 300 amps. The size does not matter. With A&L fuses, it's all about what amperes they blow at. So the thick enough metal in there is going to blow at 300 amps, and that's what you want. I'm going to be securing these distribution blocks to the top of the battery using this Velcro strip. You don't have to do this. You can use other methods. They don't have to be on the battery at all if you don't want them to. But this is what I did. And once you get everything wired up, it should look similar to this. And they're this short for a reason you're gonna see in a minute. And this is what it looks like. I'm gonna use these distribution blocks in order to run power to the rest of the system. But for right now, very short run to the cables, pretty indicative of what they will want you to do in the car audio. This is gonna be the power source for the battery. This is gonna be acting like an alternator would be in a car. This thing is called the PM3-120LK by PowerMax. This has a variable output setting, and it pretty much behaves the same as a car alternator would behave. As stated, this is a multi-stage one. This is a 3-stage. It has a variable voltage, it has a automatic voltage, and it has a fixed output voltage that you can set on this device. Very, very nice. And it has a voltage rating from 13 volts to 16.5. I mostly run it in automatic mode. And when you're finished, this is what it should look like. Pretty much the alternator power outputs to the fuse distribution block, distributed to the battery. Very simple. As a content creator for car audio, that's my genre, my niche, I oftentimes respond to comments, right? And depending on what the comment is, I'll go to you guys' channel all the time and check out your setups and stuff, right? And I can't tell you how many times I've gone there and seen like these rat nests of car audio systems that you guys have. And don't get me wrong, I'm not teasing you. Most of us started with what I consider the rat nest system, right? But for you guys who have claimed to go into shops and you still got a rat nest, or you got a buddy and you still got a rat nest, then you've done something wrong. And that's why I decided to make this quick little video to kind of point out to you some things that you need to be doing in order to get your system set up correctly. All right, bear with me. This is the proper setup of a car audio system. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but it needs to be darn similar to what you're looking at now. Very simple stuff. You have the source, which in most cases is a head unit like this. It can be a touchscreen tablet or whatever. You have a source for your music, for your audio. It is then going to be processed in some way. In my case, I have a DSP. You may have an epicenter. You may have a high to low output converter. However, whatever you have or whatever they install, it should be going to whatever is amplifying your system. Whether you are just doing your door speakers and you have a 4-channel amplifier like I do here, or if you only have a subwoofer that you're adding and you have a subwoofer amplifier like I do. One of these channels is going to run to this subwoofer amplifier, and 4 of these channels are going to run to this 4-channel amplifier. Whatever the case, it looks like this. It's very simple. It's very simple, but I see so many of you guys with these systems and everything just looks so thrown together, so complicated, and you know, it just looks like a fire hazard in there. I just wanted to let you guys know that's not how these shops are supposed to be doing your system. This is not what your best friend is supposed to be doing to your system. Your system should look closely to this, and I'm going to explain exactly what's going on right here. Okay, let me explain exactly what you're looking at here. This is my audio source. This is my head unit. A lot of older cars have these head units, but it doesn't have to be an older car. It can be a newer car. They all work exactly the same way. They have outputs, right? These are the outputs from this head unit, okay? I just so happen to have these fancy little distributions, right? These 4 inputs right here into this are your high levels that come out of your head unit. This head unit also has RCAs, which are low-level outputs. But I'm using a high-level output. The high-level output goes into the high-level input section of the DSP. Like I said, this can be a high to low converter. This can be your epicenter. They all have high input sections. Basically, these are the speaker wires that would normally go to your speakers in your car. But we want to amplify that. We want to process that, make it sound good, make it sound smoother, cleaner. So we're putting it in the DSP, and we're going to manipulate all that sound. It comes out of the DSP into whatever amplifier you're installing. Get where I'm going with this? Then those outputs are amplified, and then you can run them to your doors. In my case, I just got the speaker wires right here, and I got them labeled 1 through 4. Very simple. Same thing if you was to be using RCAs. If you were to use the RCAs that are on the back of this radio, you would run them the same way, but instead of using this, you would just use the RCA to the low-level inputs of the DSP, of the epicenter, of the high-low converter. Get where I'm going with this? Very simple stuff, but you guys don't make it look neat. You get anybody to go and mess with your stuff, and you got a rat nest. Have them, let them know going in, whoever is hooking up your stuff, you want an amp board just like this. This will fit in, especially you guys with those SUVs. This will fit in your SUV. This will fit in a Toyota Sienna. This will fit in a Toyota Camry, just like it'll fit in a Toyota Celica. It'll fit in the smallest of cars, because these are some of the smallest of amps that you can get. You get where I'm going with this? There is, in other words, there's no excuse for them not to give you an amp board like this. Stop letting them put those fire hazards in your car. That's it from your friendly budget bass head. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for visiting the channel to help you simplify car audio. It's the Budget Bass Head, and I'm out.